Sonia's Book Talk. Today I'm going to talk about 3 romantic titles. They all have romance. The first one, since I like to go in order of when they were released, the first one you've all heard of, Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. I know I don't have to say much about this, but I do want to mention that I'm just reading it for the first time, finally. I have seen the movies. I actually waited till all the movies were on DVD, and then I binged them 5 years ago, and it was this really great memory. And I have to say the movie, at least for as far as the first book is involved, the movie is better than the book. Now, you won't always, that won't always happen, but it does happen, so I wanted to talk about that. The book there's way too much dialogue and not enough action, and the movie paces it along, brings in action more at the beginning. So I know I don't have to say much about this, but it is contemporary classic romance, would you say, between a high school girl and a vampire, in case you didn't know. So yeah, that's all I'll say about this. You've heard of it. I'm actually reading it in Spanish and English right now to practice. So, okay. The next one that came out that I'm going to talk about, The Right Swipe by Alicia. Right swipe as in dating apps, swipe right if you like the person, right? So this main character, Rian, is owner of a dating app business. So she owns a dating app business, but her love life is not that great. So she does meet this guy and they have a magical night, and then he ghosts her, which is a term you'll learn from this book if you don't know, where she just doesn't hear from him again. Well, lo and behold, then he comes back into her life. He's got a good reason why he ghosted her, but she doesn't know. So, of course, there's a big misunderstanding, but he is a football player, a professional football player, and the way Alicia described him, I pictured The Rock, that athlete called The Rock, like that. Totally, the description was just like him. So you'll have to read this and see if they will get past their misunderstandings and end up together. Alicia Ray has written a lot of romances, and some of them deal with darker, deeper, heavier issues and subjects. Some of her romances are, you can see by the title, you could see by this cover that it's upbeat and happy. Some of her other ones are dark and more serious, and they have the hero that's damaged, and there's all these background issues. And when I read romance, I want it lighter, so she's written a few lighter ones, which is the ones that I gravitate to, but check her out, she's written a lot. And then finally, this one came out in 2020, Ties That Tether by Jane Igharo. Now, this one takes place in Canada. It's a Nigerian-Canadian family. The main character, Azur, she falls in love with a man from a Spanish background. His family's from Spain, and her mom does not allow that. She wants Azuri to marry a Nigerian man. No discussion. Her decision is final. So she actually cuts Azir out of the family. She's like, "You're not my daughter anymore." Yeah, she's really horrible and inflexible. But Azir actually then, tries to do what her mom says, and she dumps the guy she loves. Well, I'm giving too much away, but obviously you wanna read this for the steamy love scenes. Also, this one is pretty steamy too, medium heat. There's good heat in these, but not super erotic. Obviously, you can tell by the covers that they're not super erotic. But I thought this was a very interesting, well-written If you've watched my book talks before, you know that I'm into Nigerian authors because there's so many good ones, so many good Nigerian literature out there. So that's why I picked this up, and I started reading the first few pages and I was hooked. So it's a good romance, and that's all I will say for now. Pick up one of these, leave comments. Did you read any romance books this February? And let me know what you think of them, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the Stickney-Forest View Public Library's YouTube channel. Also, like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Stickney-Forest View Public Library District, where great things happen.